Where is this coming
Just any USB.
from? Okay. Huh? I ran here, so.
Check it to make sure it's picking it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, how you guys doing today? I'm going to talk about something that's pretty familiar with everybody, I think. Who here has heard of the Hoodoo Sea? The port of missing ships, or the graveyard of the Atlantic? I thought so. How about the Devil's Triangle or the Bermuda Triangle? Alright. Those are all the same thing. It's a geographic area, a geographic region really, that is attributed with causing the apparent disappearance or accident of an inordinate number of vessels. And today I'm going to talk about the first, the most important disappearance, the story of the infamous aviation disappearance of Flight 19, which really started the entire modern myth. I'm going to evaluate its implications and then discuss briefly some of the beliefs held about the Bermuda Triangle and the arguments for and against its existence. All right? Before we do that real quick though, let's go into the geography of it. It's by definition myth. It's not on any maps. It's not recognized by the U.S. Board of Geographic Names. But the most commonly agreed apexes of its triangle are Miami, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. And this covers about 500,000 square miles of ocean. All right. Now that we know where it is, I'm going to go into the story of Flight 19, which is really where the idea of supernatural qualities in this region came from. The most popular version of the story holds that on December 5th, 1945, 5 TBM Avengers, torpedo bomb airplanes, left the base in Fort Lauderdale on a routine patrol over the Atlantic Ocean. A few hours into the flight, however, they radioed the base, and the flight leader didn't ask for landing instructions, but instead asked for help. He was disoriented and lost. Contact was lost, and when it was resumed, a new person was on the radio. His voice was trembling, and he stammered that they were completely lost, and that was the last that they ever heard of those 5 planes in the 14 minutes. To add to the mystery, the first flying boat, that's a PBM, with rescue equipment was sent after them to the destination they were last known to be, and that ship too disappeared. It was never heard from again. Now, the story that many authors hung on to was that this crew was highly experienced, and that there was really an absence of any other factors that could have impacted the disappearance. And so this is really what led to the attribution of the disappearance to the geography itself in some special or supernatural way, according to the Naval Aviation News. Now, in 1973, this magazine printed an article which investigated the official Board of Inquiry report, the testimonies of those involved, and the radio logs in order to get a better idea of what actually happened. And as it turns out, a lot of those facts perpetrated by the media were not true. Flight 19 was a training mission for students, so you didn't have highly experienced pilots there. And the leader himself seemed to be in an odd state of mind. He actually requested before they left to be relieved of his duty, and he wasn't allowed to. Furthermore, his particular patrol, the route was something he had never done before. And so based on the transmissions, you can have a reconstruction of the events. They left Fort Lauderdale, and at 3 o'clock they were last seen at Hens and Chicken Shoals, 56 miles off the coast. It is at this point they complete the next leg of the journey, and they were being led by a student up to this point, and the flight leader actually takes over. Around here, he believes that they were taking the wrong heading, and he actually radios over to the base that both his compasses are out, and suddenly he seems to be convinced that he's over the Keys, which would be below here. So he starts to overcompensate by going northeast, thinking that would take him back to Fort Lauderdale, but instead he's going further into the Atlantic, as you can see. A couple hours later, they are able to triangulate the position of the flight, using radio to within 100 miles of that area right there. But they still have here the flight leader insisting that they need to keep going east. And the last transmission they hear at 6:20, the flight leader is telling the crew that they need to that they will ditch together, so go into the water together if they don't see land soon. And that was the last they ever heard of them. And the first rescue ship itself was known as a flying gas tank, the one that the Navy dispatched, and a fisherman report of an explosion in the sky seems to take care of what happened to that ship. So as you can see, the birth of this myth was supposed to be was based on a supposedly unexplainable story, but further review proves that there at least are some reasonable explanations: human error, mechanical failure, and coincidence that would result in the disappearance. I'm quickly going to go over what this story wrought in terms of the Bermuda Triangle modern myth.
You're at 5:30.
Okay. People then began to attribute all disappearances in the area to the Bermuda Triangle. Things such as magnetic anomalies, extraterrestrial abductions, a time portal, anything that really would supernaturally explain why they would just suddenly disappear. Underwater methane was the idea that underwater repositories of methane would rise to the surface and make the water density just lower so quickly that ships would suddenly sink. But this is something that science has not proven to have happened in the last 15,000 years, so it doesn't really apply.
It's 6.
Okay, fine. The last thing is just the scientific explanations of basically what the Navy and the Coast Guard perpetrates. One, the area, as Ryan probably knows, is the birthplace of a lot of hurricanes. You have you have a lot of sudden and unexpected storms that appear. You have the Gulf Stream, which is a very turbulent stream, so that would quickly erase the evidence of any ships. And statistics show that that the triangle is no more dangerous than any other parts of the ocean, according to the Lloyd's of London accident records. So in conclusion, the Bermuda Triangle promises to remain an esoteric topic, but it's certainly interesting that its origins lie in mysterious disappearance that may not be so mysterious. We will never truly know what happened to them, Flight 19 or any disappearances, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.